Acclaimed chef Steve Chiappetti is now the executive chef at the Albert in Streeterville. Steve, it's so great to see you. I'm a huge fan, and congratulations on the new position.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Right in the heart of Streeterville. I mean, your career, there's so many spots that are just walking distance from where, we've known you to make a footprint.
Yeah, it's been great to come back to this neighborhood specifically. I love the neighborhood and the people that live here. Because you don't really think about it. It's like downtown Chicago, but you're really by the lake, and the people that live in these apartment buildings are just amazing. So I've been really excited just to get back to this part of the city, which I've been for years, and get to see my friends that have been around this neighborhood. So it's been great.
Not only did we have lockdown and some changes, but you're also in Las Vegas for a little bit of a time. So it's been a couple of years since we've actually got to see, your face and your name, attached to a menu and a restaurant.
Yeah, it was definitely a unique part of my career to get off and do a casino and be involved with the casino industry. Definitely a different way of approaching diners and guests. But I'm very grateful to get back into just this intimate setting. The hotel is an amazing property, and I like that because it's that whole European auberge that where the chef has an impact on the guest from beginning of their day to the end of their day. So I just really got excited about that project.
Let's talk about the experience because you walk in the front door and it's just wow. Like your breath is just taken because it is so beautiful. Talk a little bit about the ambience that is created there at the Albert.
It's truly unique. I mean, you walk in the room, there's been such a dedication and a passion when they put this together. And Scott Greenberg did an amazing job building the property. I think from the beginning, when you enter in, it has this unique feel, and people resonate with that, where it feels very intimate, very comfortable. But yet at the same time, it challenges you with from the artwork, the music, the dining experience. I mean, we really try to challenge our guests in that way to make them feel like, wow, this is different. This is not what you expect when you come in. So I think they've done an amazing job at creating it.
I mean, it's also a great first date spot. It's a great spot
Yeah.
for family and friends to come and celebrate. If you're a fan of art, cocktails. I mean, it's just the ambiance right there. I mean, I think it would take anybody's breath away. And anyone who suggests it is like, this person has really great taste in restaurants. And they really research their spots because it's so unlike anything else here in the Chicagoland area.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and again, all I can say is I think that when they approached this, they really wanted to make a very unique dining experience, and it wasn't just about the food. And that's the key here. It's not just about the food and drink. Yes, we have great food. Yes, we have great drink. But I really do think it's about that experience that we want to give the guest. When you come in here, it's fun. It's entertainment. I mean, that's what restaurants is about. And post pandemic, I mean, that's what everybody wants. They want to get back into getting together and let's have some fun and let's get together and have a great place to do it. And I think this is it.
And
Yeah.
speaking of the food, it's not just food as far as here's a great menu, but it also has a story. One of the dishes there, the polenta board. Talk a little bit about the history of that, your family history of that, and what we can expect at the restaurant.
It's a signature of the family, and not just my family, but a lot of families in Italy. So, polenta goes from the very north of Italy all the way down to the south, and it's a simple dish. It's a peasant dish, but then it was elevated over in time to become very bougie, very elegant dish. So, usually the families, you have this board, and you have this literally a wood board. It looks like a cutting board, and you pass it down through generations. And they bring it to the table and you set it down, and grandma or mom's in the kitchen cooking this polenta for a good hour, stirring in, adding the butter, adding the cream, adding the cheese, just constantly letting the cornmeal bloom and create this dish, because cornmeal is the actual ingredient, but polenta is the dish. It's like risotto, right? Arborio rice is the rice, but risotto is the final product, and that's the same thing with this. And they stir it, and you pour it onto the board, and then you usually accompany it with many different sauces. So you might have pesto, you might have artichokes, you might have mushrooms. We kind of did a small version of that in the restaurant, where you come in, we bring a board to your table, we literally pour the polenta from the pot on the stove to the board and bring you sauces so that you can make up your own dish. So it's very interactive and fun.
That is one of my favorite dishes that I was able to experience there. We're going to get to meat and to fish here shortly, but since you mentioned vegetables, I mean, sometimes you also automatically think like, oh, I can't wait to see what entree I'm going to order or what pasta dish I'm going to order. But your take on vegetables, let's talk a little bit about that and some of the appetizers, because it is really creative. And I almost got full on vegetables that I needed to pace myself to be able to make it to the main course.
I mean, I love vegetables. I mean, vegetables are, should be at least 50 to 60% of our diet. So, I mean, like the artichoke, I love our artichoke. It's it's basically a Romanesque type of artichoke. We take it, we put it in olive oil, we crisp it up really nicely, put it with a creamy garlic dressing, and then we put a little aged balsamic on top with a little bit of focaccia crumbs and arugula. I love it. It's so simple. It's so great. Other dishes like the carrots and mint. So simple. It's honey, literally just straight honey, glazing the carrots, browning them perfectly, and putting a little bit of just fresh mint in it. It's clean. It's simple. You don't need much more than that. So I think there's like a lot of that emphasis on our menu. The mushrooms, the potato. I love our layered potato. It's like 100-layer potato that we put in there, and we put a little bit of a fontina cream sauce with garnished with a little bit of Asiago on top of it, even more so. So it's this really rich, decadent cream sauce on a potato, and it's just a meal in of itself. It's amazing. So I do thank you for noticing that.
And of course, we got to get to the entrees. Let's talk a little bit about some of the pastas that are there, because especially the lasagna made with lobster, that's something that I've never seen before.
I wanted to do a lasagna, and lasagna's in so many different ways. This was a recipe that actually I got from Bari, and when I was in the town of Bari, and the chef there catch the fresh lobsters, we take it, break them down, but it's fresh. Here we get fresh Maine lobsters, and we put that with fresh sautéed spinach, a little bit of roasted tomatoes, a tad of curry spice to it, which is really great because you have that essence that it just really marries well with the lobster. In between homemade pasta, you can't go wrong in my mind. It's just an amazing dish. So
Uh,
simple but easy. I mean,
Simple but
good.
easy. Let's talk a little bit about some of the meat dishes there, because obviously your family has a long storied history with the Chicagoland area as far as packing houses go. So obviously meat, the right cuts of meat to use in a restaurant is comes second nature to you.
I just wanted to do the best of the best. And, if you're going to offer it to the guests, it's something you're not going to get at home. And for us, I love our dry aged ribeye steak. It's a cowboy cut, with the bone in. It's amazing. It's one of those things where you have the balance of all that fat and the spinalis and the lean loin center. I mean, you're really talking the best of all cuts. I think it's fantastic to be able to offer that to the guests. And the product that we get is amazing. The sirloin, the short rib. We're doing certain cuts that you're not, like I said, you're not going to cook those at home. So I'm really happy about the beef that we serve, and honestly, we're very proud of it.
And I'm going to tell everybody, you need to just pace yourself because the food is so good. You're going to want to eat every single bite. I would suggest going with a group of friends, sharing pieces of it, because you want to get to dessert. That was one of my favorite. I was holding out. I was saving like this much room in my stomach just to have some dessert, because I was like, these all look so good. Like, I need to save space.
There's always room for dessert, right? Our olive oil cake is honestly, that's another family signature, and we've had that for years. I've made a few tweaks to it, but it's replacing the sugar and putting honey as a substitute, replacing your butter at olive oil. So here's a dessert that you could go to town on, and you're taking that benefit of having olive oil. Who says that? That I could have a dessert and it's actually like good for me. What? So it's a great dish. I love it. People love it, and we've been very fortunate with that one. Thanks for seeing that one as well.
Yeah, I definitely was happy that I saved a little bit of room at the end to be able to enjoy that. One thing that I'm excited to go ahead and try is Sunday brunch. I looked at the menu on the website. It looks incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. Sunday brunch has been a big fun. I like brunches, period. It's an old school thing, but I kind of dig it. And we put a lot of focus into that. I love my apple pancake. I think is fantastic. It's a little bit more of that northern style German Alsatian. That's from my mom's side, and I kind of had to have put that in there because my mom was from Alsace, France. My father was from Calabrese, Italy. So I had to do like a French dish somewhere, I guess, even though we're Italian, somewhat Italian. And that was it. And then wound up on our brunch menu, and it's a great dish. I love it.
One of the things that I love, I mean, I could talk to you for hours, and I told you, so we're going to keep this to about 10 minutes ish.
Right.
But it's all the stories and how you take pieces of your childhood, your family history, techniques you learned from your mom and from your dad, and visits you took to different countries, and bring that part of the restaurant experience. So when you are looking at the menu, you're not just like, oh, this looks creative. There's a wonderful story behind all the dishes, and I think that's one of my favorite things that I love about you.
Thank you. I mean, it's one of the things we teach the staff is like there is a story behind every dish, and that's the great thing about Italian food. There's always a story from history, everything. So I don't think I always, we might take it a new look at how we create the dish, but the dish itself has fundamental roots, and we don't want to change that. We want to appreciate that. I always have appreciation for history and everybody that what they've done. I mean, we shouldn't forget it. We should embrace it and then say, okay, now maybe in today's times, how can we have a new vision of it? The great thing about American cooking is that we've become more elevated because we're not just bringing product from Italy. We have great American product. For many years, it was always, we couldn't do these dishes and do them justice because we didn't have the product. Now we have the product at an amazing level. Wisconsin cheeses, the burrata, everything. These are things that are being created in our country. We don't have to get it from Europe to get it. So we can make the food better at a higher level. Well, I love the ingredients that we're able to produce.
And as far as reservations, people can go on the website to go ahead and make them.
Yeah, it's a small restaurant. It's not a huge restaurant. We're not one of the big juggernauts, but it's intimate, and it makes it that much more special when you come.
Chef, thank you so much for your time today. The Albert is at 228 East Ontario. The AlbertChicago.com is where you can go ahead and check out all the menus, check out the space. They have a wonderful cocktail menu as well too, which pairs deliciously with the food as well there. And Chef, thank you so much for your time today. And
thank you.
I'm hungry again. I'm ready to come back and visit you.
Please come on back. We'd love to have you back. Thank you.
Thank you.